I'm Edie Martin, and I'm a glass artist. It's enlightening for me to look back at my life and decipher my emergence as an artist through individual memories that pop into my mind. I gathered a few of those memories from my elementary and junior high school years that reveal that my artist craftsman's eye was destined to come into focus. I've always loved to make things with my hands, and I love to sew doll clothes and make paper dolls when I was very young. All those little things that were sanctioned for little girls. But I also remember asking my dad if I could have some leftover pieces of wood that were in his shop, and with them I made myself a crude table for my bedroom. It was not a masterpiece. I remember one square piece of plywood, four chunky legs, hopefully all the same length, and probably eight nails that were pounded right directly from the top corners into the legs, and it worked, and I had made it myself. In sixth grade, I remember being obsessed with a book that I found in the school library that was called Things to Make and Do. I checked that book out so many times throughout that grade that I don't think anyone else ever had an opportunity to look at it. The school library was right next door to the sixth grade classroom, and so I had easy access and checked it out again and again. Wish I could get a hold of that book now and see what was in there. I also remember being intrigued with patterns in things like wallpaper, wood moldings, fabric, things like that. Things with repetitive pattern and color. I must have stared at dishes too, because I once drew a design for an eighth grade art class project that was loosely based on a pattern from my mom's dishes. And my teacher made a really positive comment about my project. That was very encouraging, and it's amazing to remember after a few decades. I didn't focus on art very much in my high school and college years, with my college major being elementary education. I'd been encouraged to prepare to support myself by pursuing something practical, so I chose teaching. I was really drawn in, however, by a required class for elementary teachers called Art in the Elementary School, because in that class we had an opportunity to try out all kinds of different art mediums, some which I had never done before, including painting, drawing, and ceramics. And I was very intrigued with the ceramics particularly. And I remember making a few pots. I think they were pinch pots or coiled pinch pots, and going into the ceramic studio after hours to continue to work on projects. I always kind of wanted to try the pottery wheel, but I didn't have an opportunity right at that time. A little later, that college experience led me to try taking a painting class that was offered at the Nelson Atkins Museum of Art in Kansas City. That was when I was in my 20s. I lived quite near the museum, and I was stationed in Kansas City working as a flight attendant at the time. So I had some free time. Obviously, teaching did not hold its appeal for me, but travel did have an appeal. While taking the painting class, I bought paints and an easel, and I enjoyed the museum and the class. A little later on my journey, I took a pottery class, and I finally had a chance to try out a wheel. and eventually bought a used pottery kick wheel, and I asked my husband for a kiln for my birthday and enjoyed that little ride for a while. A little later, I tried a stained glass class at a community college in Kansas City, and with that, I knew that I wanted to pursue working with glass. I embraced stained glass wholeheartedly as a part-time occupation for several years while being a stay-at-home mom for my 3 kids, doing custom work for myself and other individuals, and eventually for churches also. Along the way somewhere, I found out that the pottery kiln was worth a try for firing glass, and I experimented with glass fusing and glass painting, and it was fun. About the time my kids started going to college, I decided to go back myself and fill in with some art training. It was another chance to try out more art mediums and learning the formal art principles. That was an important step along the way, and I earned my second bachelor's degree, a BFA this time. I need to mention again that all my life I've looked at patterns and textures of things in nature and things man-made. You could just ask my family how often I've stopped the car or asked for the car to stop during a road trip so I can jump out and look out and photograph the rocks on a mountainside or something else. I am completely fascinated by rock formations. I have a whole album in my iPhoto program called Inspiration Rocks. There's another one called Inspiration Nature, and another one called Inspiration Art. I've often referred to these albums, and I continue to add to them, and they do provide inspiration for my artwork at sometimes. One of the most important things that I did on my journey as an artist was joining a co-op gallery about 10 years ago. Being in the gallery put me in contact with some wonderful artists, many different mediums, and it's required me to continually be making new art to replenish the art that sells. And with continually making new art, my art has improved also. And it has led me to a new phase in my art journey in which I'm creating fused glass art almost exclusively. I am able to work with texture and pattern and lines and symbols, and those things continue to intrigue me as I make art. So those are a few memories and events in my journey to realize myself as an artist. And recalling these small memories leads me to giving you a bit of advice. If you find yourself with an impulse toward doing something crafty or art related, do it. Go ahead and let your eye be drawn to the intriguing. Take that class or workshop. Take pictures of rocks or other things in nature. Visit that art gallery. Sketch those decorative motifs. Cut out that picture or article from a magazine. Start a file of things that interest you visually. Invest in some new art supplies. Do what intrigues you. It is a step on your art journey, and you never know where that journey may lead you.